here at the bottom of page 2, where it says, "We see, therefore, how the modern bourgeoisie is itself the product of a long course of development, a series of revolutions in the modes of production and of exchange." What the authors here, Marx and Engels, are describing is an historical process of the emergence of modern capitalism, of industry and free markets, and a kind of a global market in which they people who make things and exchange things are now the dominant force in society. The world wasn't always that way. The dominant class in society was not always the the owners of businesses, let's say, and merchants. It was an aristocracy that was based upon land. You know, the way that you were rich in the old days, the pre-modern days, is you controlled a lot of land, and there were very few people who could do so, right? And you controlled that land, and you became rich because people needed that land to live. They needed to farm, so you let them use the land. You didn't give it to them; you let them use it, and they paid you, not usually in coin because there was very little coin. They gave you a portion of what they made, and then that was a source of your riches, and also being able to call upon their labor. People who were serfs, basically peasants who were in control. They weren't exactly slaves, but boy, they sure lived like slaves. You basically dominated completely by the local landlord slash aristocrat slash squire, whatever you want to call them. Um, but the world has changed by 1848. The emerging class is this class of capitalists, of people who make things, commodities, and sell them for a profit on a grand scale. Each step in the development of the bourgeoisie was accompanied by a corresponding political advance of that class. An oppressed class under the sway of the feudal nobility, an armed and self governing association in the medieval commune, here independent urban republic as in Italy and Germany, there taxable third estate of the monarchy as in France. Afterwards, in the period of manufacture proper, serving either the semi feudal or the absolute monarchy as a counterpoise against the nobility, like this long history of the emergence of the bourgeois class and the different roles it played in earlier times in history. And in fact, cornerstone of the great monarchies in general, the bourgeoisie has at last, like after playing all these subordinate roles, let's say in the past 50 years, maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say, taking the perspective of 1848. The bourgeoisie has at last, since the establishment of modern industry and of the world market, conquered for itself in the modern representative state. It's just the modern representative state, just the republic, perhaps, is a version of that Madison was talking about in the Federalist number 10, has conquered for itself in the modern representative state exclusive political sway. The executive of the modern state is but a committee for managing the common affairs of the whole bourgeoisie. Which is an amazing thing to say, and you might compare it with the kind of language of Declaration of Independence, Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, the Federalist number 10, the Bill of Rights. It is a jaundiced and cynical look at that. That last sentence is very famous. The executive of the modern state. Maybe he means precisely the executive branch, but he really means just the modern state in general, the kind of republics and different states that are emerging in this time, but certainly America included, is but a committee for managing the common affairs of the whole bourgeoisie. That is, what is modern government? It's a modern government that's meant to serve the interests of the bourgeois class. They have control. They are the ones who call the shots, and the state is really just set up to serve their needs. And basically, the implication is all of the rhetoric of the Declaration of Independence, the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen, the rhetoric of the Bill of Rights to the U.S. Constitution, even the rhetoric, certainly, of Madison's Federalist Number 10, that it's all a lie. I think that is the message here. It's all a lie. Our modern state is not set up to represent the common person. The modern state is set up to represent the rich, and the rich are largely the bourgeois, that is, the class of people who have become powerful through commerce, making things and selling things on the grand scale that the Industrial Revolution has made possible. So, yeah, nothing could be more cynical, nothing could be more undermining of many of the things that we've read so far in this class. And whether it's correct, I don't. It's for you to decide.